All right. It is the first week of March. Beware those Ides of March. We got a special guest sitting in with us today. Going to pump us up here on the John Riggins Show. Here's Riggo.
You are so correct, my lovely daughter Coco. Coco, stand up and take a bow. Don't stand up. Yeah, I told her on the way over here, you got to save the John Riggins Show. Our ratings are so bad. It's like we're in the sewer of ratings.
We got to do what we got to do.
We're in a riptide. We're going out. Help, Coco.
The sewer of Pennywise.
Yeah. That's actually who Dude is. She's Pennywise. She's down in the sewer.
Whatever it takes.
In, guys.
Whatever it takes.
Pull you in.
It does. Well, Coco and I had cat duty. I had cat duty yesterday. I had to take Minnie, who's the older cat.
You have two. You have
14,
right? Mm-hmm.
All 14 and a half pounds of her. 14.4 pounds. That's almost, like I said, 8 ounces, 14 and a half pounds. And then Prince weighed in at 9.1 pounds.
So wait a second. Minnie is 14 and
she's gained a little weight.
It's kind of like you ever seen some guy that's, a little bit overweight and they call him Tiny. There you go. That was my granddad's dog's name was Tiny. It was a rat terrier and it looked anything but like a rat. I mean, this dog was that big around and it had legs about the size of this pencil. It was grotesque.
Was Minnie on a pandemic, just diet gorge? What are we doing?
Well, the vet said, Coco, I think we had to adjust the diet, so we've got some
low-calorie
basically,
food.
We've got, who's the singer? What's her name that does the low-cal stuff?
Marie Osmond.
Marie Osmond. She's on Marie Osmond's food.
I should know that.
Yeah.
Sound about right, dude?
Yeah.
So anyway, we had our cat dude got under control. I got to tell you, and Coco can relate to this a little bit because she was with me, but I started this book. A friend of mine, Rich Rucker, a.k.a. Eddie Haskell, he's the fun Eddie Haskell, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, he sent me this book, and it's called The Long Haul by Finn Murphy, and it's all about, and Coco knows because she saw me reading it, but it's all about the life of a truck driver. Now, I have to say this, Coco knows it, and Coco and I, we long hauled this summer, back in June, out to Kansas.
Straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And as I'm saying this, I'll get back to the book, but I think Coco has what it takes to be a long hauler. I do.
Yeah.
Oh, woo.
Exactly.
You're up in the wee hours of the night, 3 a.m.
Dude would take and knock off. I think she did it about 4 times. Basically, after every time we got 4 stops for gas on the way out there. And every time, we'd get gas and we'd go for a while and she'd knock off for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Take a nap. And then she was back. I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, for the whole 18-hour trip all the way out there. We left at I think 11 o'clock in the morning in Cabin John. We arrived in Seneca, Kansas at like 4:30 Sunday morning. We left on a Saturday.
We had our root beer.
And had our root beers. We'd stop, and every stop for a beer stop, we'd have a root beer. Although there was no caffeine in the root beer. So
color me impressed. I couldn't do it.
I know. And then I did it. I went out deer hunting this fall. And I drove it by myself, and it was like I was lost without the dude with me. That's also Coco's nickname, the dude, huh?
Need your wingman.
Got to have the wingman. There were times, the half hour, that's fine. You can do it but then there's that point then where you start, and then dude's right there with you, and she's ready to go.
We got a little slap happy in the morning, though. I don't know if you remember that.
We did.
We started getting a little kooky.
Little goofy?
You do get that way when you start running
Yeah, because you texted me, said you were home stretch. You're like 3 or 4, and a couple times it didn't make sense. And I was like, you sure you don't want to pull over to a rest area?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we had going. But I found in this book, and like I said, it's absolutely what nobody knows, and Coco knows this because I've talked about it over the years, I think, that I always wanted to be a truck driver. That's why when I saw this book, I went, you got to be kidding me. And it's like, it's exactly the kind of what I thought about being a truck driver because I learned a little bit about it. I did a little research on it way back early on in with the Jets because I was thinking, in the off season, I'll buy a truck and
make a little cash,
I'll see the country and pick up a little cash.
He knows his trucks too.
Yeah,
he knows Lodestar. All terms.
Lodestar. Yeah, that's an international. Harvester.
You got him started, Coco.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He's going to be on a roll now.
Peterbilt.
Oh,
but this guy goes through it all. This guy's a professional. Me, I'm just, I'm an amateur. Kind of like my psychology. I'm an amateur psychologist.
A lot of degrees, I've noticed.
Yes, I do. I even do a little medicine on the side. That's another story. Anyway, I always wanted to be a truck driver, and I realized when I got finding out about it, some truck drivers basically, a lot of them are independent haulers and they'll haul anything anywhere, but for the most part they end up getting routes because almost all of them nowadays, in the old days maybe not so much, but you would get a route, and that would be that's what you did. And you worked for the company. You didn't own your truck. You just went to work. You was like a regular working guy, except you drove a truck, and you might leave Kansas City, on a Monday. You might drive to L.A., be there in 3 days, whatever it takes. I forget, exactly what it would be.
Load up
mail
the fresh.
truck. I know a guy that did this, and that was his run. L.A., mail, drop the mail, pick up mail, run it back to Kansas City, and that was his
They don't
life.
want any freewheeling or freestyling.
No, and obviously you stop at the same truck stops, you see the same people, so it's like, hey, I got friends in Phoenix, it's like one of these, really? Yeah. Oh, you live in Kansas City? Yeah, I see them a couple times a week because I'm a truck driver. But the difference here, and they're called bed buggers, is your moving people, the people that actually go to your house, pick up your stuff. They're called, like I said, bed buggers. They come and they pick up your stuff. And
Like
they
a
go
JK Moving, Eureka.
Yeah, exactly. Any place in the country, well, the world for that matter, they take. So that, to me, I realized early on would be my way to see the country. Mm-hmm. And actually, that was before the jets. Now to think about it, because I didn't really think I was going to have the means to do that. I thought, well, this is a great way to see the country. I always wanted to see the redwoods. You've heard me say this: see the redwoods, the Grand Canyon, all these places, the Rocky Mountains, and do all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But obviously, we got into it. I started playing football, and I just kind of got away from it. I kind of look back now with a little bit of, a little bit of angst. Not angst necessarily, but what do you call it?
Regret?
Regret, exactly. That, that maybe I should have tried that, because there's just something fascinating about it.
Well, how about
to
a
me.
Winnebago right now?
Well, and that's the weird part
I'd
about
love to
it.
do that.
When I started doing the outdoor show, Riggo on the Range,
You had your Riggabago.
Yeah.
it was exactly what I thought it'd be. I loved it. I really did, except I had to be away from the family.
I'd love to do that for 3 or 6 months and just travel the country,
You'd
go
be
wherever you
surprised.
want.
It is. But the guy, this Finn Murphy in the book says, when you used to think of truck drivers, you used to think of the, basically the cowboy spirit, the Wild West. These guys go everywhere and they see everything. Like I said, it's not really. With the regulation, truck regulation, all this stuff, it ain't.
Oh, yeah, it's corporate. You got to check in at the weigh station, and they're timing your butt. Hey, how come you're 42 minutes late with my fresh vegetables?
By the way, and that's exactly right. And I did find out that the Virginia State Police are probably as bad not I won't say bad as in that they are corrupt. I'm just saying you don't want to break you don't want to break highway laws.
You're saying they're highly efficient at their job in Virginia?
They take it serious.
Let's just say
Seriously.
they make it hurt. You'll feel the pain. You'll feel the burn.
There's no Smokey and the Bandit
I remember years
fantasy.
ago, dude. I was driving along down in the Tidewater area, and I'm driving along, and all of a sudden, and I had to take a pee, and I'm going, so I jumped out of the car and I take a pee. There was a median. It was 4 lanes, but this median was like 50 yards wide. And next thing you know, there's a cop pulls up behind me and says, "Hey, I saw you from across the road urinating on it in public." And I'm going, "Are you kidding?" And sure enough, I got a ticket. I don't know what it was
Hey,
for.
when a man's got to
And
go,
I'm
he's
thinking to
got to
myself,
go.
I'm thinking,
Come
I'm
on.
looking at him going, "Wait a second, you're checking my junk out here," and I'm going, "What's that say about you?" I'm thinking, if I'm a cop, I think I just drive on by.
Hey, very
Yeah,
impressive.
nothing to
Carry
see
on.
here. Nothing to see.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know about this guy. He's got me worried. But now that isn't where I started to say. But anyway, back to the story. So anyway, I never did become a truck driver.
Well, I told you, here's what's coming
Dream.
next.
But dude would be a good one. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll become a truck driver and then I'll take you with me.
I'll be her wingman.
Well,
It's getting to be about that right now because she's just learning how to drive. So I actually am
Yeah.
becoming the wingman.
There you go.
That's pretty
There
cool.
you-
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to have a new segment called Keeping It Cool with Coco. She's going to join us
On Wednesday, or once a week.
as much as possible so basically you keep the old farts in check and keep us cool. Let us know what time it is.
Of
So we
course.
got all kinds of questions, and I know your dad wants to drill down on a couple things. So you're going to help us out.
Well, and that's the great thing about hanging around with Coco. I'm 71 years old, and yet I can still be kind of like, hey, I know the latest song. Like, hey, do you hear
21 Pilots?
21 Pilots? Yeah, you know about 21 Pilots? They haven't had a
That's
hit
the
in
only
quite a
group
while.
he
More of
knows.
a 22 pilot guy.
Nah, you can't go there.
21 so yesterday.
Or, Lady Gaga. I know all about Lady Gaga. I don't know.
Chainsmokers, although they haven't done anything recently.
Hey,
so.
dude, let me ask you this. Lady Gaga, how does this strike? You knew that her bulldogs got kidnapped, right?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw some
And
news.
what were you? What did you think about what happened? Because I think she got him back, right, Todd?
Yeah.
I know a lot
I'm
about
happy
this
for
one.
her.
There's a lot of different twists and turns. So her dog walker.
She paid somebody to.
Well-
No, she couldn't pay somebody to shoot her dog walker.
No, this is even weirder. So I think she was in Europe, and her dog walker in Hollywood.
Right.
Her 3 English bulldogs worth a lot of money. Which
dogs are?
Yes, these dogs.
Yeah, French
apparently
bulldogs
are
aren't cheap.
All the rage and tens of thousands of dollars.
French bulldogs.
Yeah.
And so he was walking 3 of them. One of them got away. The 2 guys got out of a car. They were trying to dog jack him. I guess that's a new term now. You get dog jacked.
Seriously,
instead
that
of
is?
car.
They-
Well, I just made it up. But
Okay,
it sounds
well, I like dog jacking.
Dog jack.
Has an
so
connotation
for whatever
some people.
reasons, and they have a lot of this on film, they decide to shoot him 4 times.
Shoot him.
Shoot the dog
dog.
walker.
Did they know that he was Lady Gaga's dog
I
walker?
don't know, but they saw the bulldogs, and so they took.
Stop the car.
They got
Sounds
2
like
of
road
them.
hunting in the old days. I think I saw a pheasant.
well,
Stop
this
the
guy
car.
was walking them, and he's just minding his business. Apparently, he is
Oh
a
my God.
legendary professional dog walker, which I didn't know was a career. Something
Oh,
to
it is?
consider. Yeah, so
Yeah.
So
I don't know about a career,
That's
but
nice.
there's people in New York City.
Yes.
It wasn't odd to see somebody walking 6, 7 dogs.
Well, this
I mean,
guy
it's
is
like
this guy is
bizarre.
like famous for whatever reasons, and they pop him 4 times, leave him.
Leave him for dead?
And the one dog, I think the dog's name was Asia. I told you I know a little too much about this. Came back and was like, "What's up? What can I do?" You know,
Is it
the
like
dog-
Rin Tin Tin?
The dog's trying
Lassie?
to communicate.
Oh,
Yes.
that dog's trying to
All of
save
it.
him. Give him little CPRs.
Yes, little mouth, doggy mouth to mouth, and the whole.
And the
deal.
guy goes, "Your breath."
Right.
No more mouth to
The
mouth.
dog
Okay.
walked away.
Stay with me, Phil. Stay with me.
So,
No, the dead guy. I mean, the guy that's
Yeah.
dying is going, "No, doggy, get away, get away."
well, they rush him, and he's recovering. And I think they shot him 4 times in the chest, which seems a little bit much, for the robbery. Now, get this. This is the part that I found odd. Lady Gaga comes out like the next day,
This is what I wanted to ask. Coco.
and she offers a $500,000 reward for the return of the 2 missing bulldogs. Forget about the guys that plugged him. The $500,000 reward was for the 2 dogs, no questions asked.
Hey, I can't blame
How
her.
about a little something for
What?
the 4?
I can't blame her. Well, I'm kind of biased because I love Lady Gaga, but
How
Yeah,
about
but wait
the
a
dude
second.
that took 4 to the chest?
First of all, you got a guy, when it comes to dog walkers, dude, that actually is the equivalent of Lady Gaga. I mean, if you're a dog walker, you look up at this guy, go, God, if I could only be like him, right? And
I heard she
and
did a
so
lot
this
to
guy's
help
a
him.
celebrity in his own right. He gets shot 4 times. Lady Gaga's, yeah,
no,
well, okay,
I
enough
heard a
about
lot.
you.
I
What
heard that
about my
she
dogs?
supported him a lot.
Well, yeah. And now I'm sure he's going to get a little something for the. I just thought it was odd that that's the lead. Bulldogs
No
first.
questions asked.
How about the apprehension of the guys that shot in an attempted murder for the dog walker?
Hey, there was probably a lot going on her mind. She had.
Well, she's had a little trouble of late
a little
anyway.
part of her was.
Well, when you think about it,
Taken
she
away
struggled.
from
I think
her.
she struggles with depression, so I can understand that. I can. In other
Well,
words, it's like
the
you're not your normal self. I'm pretty sure that's right. Lisa Reed was telling me that
sure.
she's hit a rough spot in her career. Did you know that? No, not really. Dude, did you know that? You said you love Lady Gaga. You should know that. Your mom knows more than you about Lady Gaga.
I know that's a little
Well, I'm
embarrassing.
thinking out
but
loud. Most unbelievable entertainers at that level, actors, musicians, whatever. Everybody's got a little something going on. We all got it.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well, and from her perspective, it's, oh, my dogs. Well, what about the dog walk? My dog.
I heard
I
she
get it now.
supported
Now
him
the
in the
2
hospital.
dogs,
seem
the
odd.
2 dogs. Well, the 2 dogs were found. Apparently, a woman found them in another part of L.A. because apparently the robbers or the dog nappers realized they'd messed with the wrong
Dogs.
bulldogs, and they were anonymously left on their leashes on a pole a little bit later. So,
And they
They were
have
the
smoking a
gentleman and the
cigarette.
professional dog walker is recovering. So hopefully this continues to be a happy story.
So they haven't found the
well.
No,
perps.
the perps.
Perps are still.
They
at
got them
large.
on footage though.
All right.
They'll find them.
All right, dude. You want to take a little break, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah. All right,
right.
great.
Okay.
All right,
nice
Riggo.
first segment, dude.
Yeah, well
Thank
done.
you.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Riggo, we got a bunch of tidbits we want to get in here on this first week of March. this hit the sports wires yesterday. Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel.
The failed quarterback.
The failed
Cleveland
quarterback, the former.
Was he a number one overall pick? He wasn't number one overall.
He wasn't number one, but he was up there. Yeah. He was top 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. Won the Heisman Trophy in 2012.
Jeez, that long ago.
2012. Isn't that stunning?
God, it just seems like he was just, in the news yesterday.
Know. Well, he still is. And so here's the other part. 1 year in the NFL.
That's all he's got?
1 year in the NFL.
He won't get a pension.
So, and since that time, I mean, you talk about a career that has plummeted. He's tried every football league known to man. I mean, he really has. Multiple times.
Ryan Leaf and him.
I'd say even more so. Multiple times in the CFL. He tried the Alliance of American Football before they went belly up. The latest venture, which I saw about 3 weeks ago, 7-on-7 league called fan-controlled football, the FCF. Now, fan-controlled football is where the fans, they basically call the plays through apps and stuff. And it's
somebody dreamed this up?
Yeah. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. So he was playing.
Well, that's like that 3-on-3 basketball that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's his name? The actor.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
Yeah. It's similar nature.
Ice T. Is it Ice Cube?
It's Cube.
It is Cube. You should know.
T might be involved too.
You got to have the Mr. T. I'm thinking of Mr. T. Mr. T, Ice Cube. Okay, I got it.
So Johnny, in a podcast a couple of days, might even been yesterday. So now he's got a new goal, a new thing he's going to try. He says by the year 20, I want to make sure I get this right. He's given himself 12 years to try to make it to play in a PGA Tour event.
Oh.
Yeah, so now he's going to take the golf route.
Focus on golf.
Yeah, he's going to, and so he says he is a scratch golfer.
Now.
Yeah, and that he grew up playing but didn't take it super serious. But he realized it's going to take 10,000 hours of practice. And he
must
is only
read that guy's book.
He's right to master something. Mm-hmm. He is only 28 years old.
Only? Sounds old to me.
28, but considering where he was, 2012, had the world by everything. Got caught up in the booze and the drugs and the sex and did the rock star life, for sure.
I got to give him a golf.
Yeah, we're not mad at that. I mean, Johnny knows who he is.
You know what? Do you have his phone number?
Johnny Football.
I'm going to say, Johnny, you and me need to talk.
Johnny Football is.
But he couldn't produce.
No, so if he says he's going to do it by giving himself 12 years, he'll be 40. Now this is very.
I won't live to see it, but good luck, Johnny.
Yes, you will. Now, this is fascinating too because I'm a big golfer and it means a lot.
And you're getting ready to take a little trip. Take a little trip with me.
But there are so many unbelievable golfers at the basic level. Maybe your club teaching pro or whatever. But what you're watching on TV and what the PGA Tour does are the best in the world. They don't play golf like we play golf. It's a completely different sport. It's the difference between the NFL and high school football or a great high school football. And so so many guys used to say, I used to know guys and some wealthy guys around here when the senior tour first came out, like, oh, well, I made a lot of money, so I'm retiring at 40 and I'm going to try to get on the senior tour. And the greatest line I ever heard was when one of the guys was talking about it and says, oh, really? Well, good for you because, you're going to keep competing against Jack Nicklaus and this guy and Arnold Paul and all these guys when they turn 50. So, no, it doesn't work that way. You don't automatically become one of the greatest on the planet, even at an advanced age.
Yeah, in other words, a different category.
Right, of who you're competing with. So, but like you say, Johnny's always in the news, never dull.
Maybe that's his whole objective.
I wonder, did he ever have a reality series or not? But
that's a good question. It seems like he did, but then I wouldn't say for sure one way or the other. It's almost because he was in the news so much makes you think he had a reality show.
Well, right.
And in a way, he did through the sports page.
Yeah,
that was his reality.
I mean, he's on TMZ more than he is the sports page.
You know what's funny as you bring this up? There are so many people out there, and that were friends of mine, and people that I knew. That they all have that dream. It's a dream, but it's almost in that dream. And it's difficult when somebody says, I want to be this. It's always like, if you're persistent and you really want it, this is America. You can do it. And you kind of go, I don't know. In other words, if you're in the business, because I remember I had one friend, and he was going, if I wanted to, I never got a chance, but if I could try out, maybe you could help me. And I was still playing at the time. I was a really good wide receiver. He wanted me to give him a tryout with White.
Did he at least play, play college
There's
ball?
two things for sure that's going to happen here. You're going to look bad, and I'm going to look bad. So I don't think I'm going to do that. But yeah, he was dead set. Another guy who was a friend of mine, who was a superintendent of the building up in New York where I lived, he kind of fell in some hard times, and all of a sudden he thought, I'm going to become a professional golfer. And I thought, it's the same deal. There's so many people out there think, hey, I could do that. I had one of the best friends I grew up with in high school. He got telling me how, he thought he was a football player, and he got taught, Robert Holmes that name probably doesn't mean anything to you, but he was a fullback for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he goes, I can play as good as Robert Holmes. I'm every bit as good as Robert Holmes. Of course, he was lubed up a little bit, a few shooters. And of course, that's when it all comes out in everybody.
Oh yeah.
You get a little intoxicated, and then all of a sudden, it's just how good you can become. But yeah, it's such a strange phenomenon. And in other words, I don't want to ruin his buzz. I like his style though. He's given himself 12 years. He really will be a senior by the time. Oh, I see. He's going to practice until he's old enough, and then he enters the senior market.
No, he's going. I brought up the senior as fantasy
down the road.
but he's saying
he's going to go now.
Well, he says within 12 years, his goal is to play in a regular PGA Tour event. Listen,
I see. He has. I thought he'd almost be a senior by. What is it? 50? Is that
50
the cutoff?
is the senior tour, in which he has 0.00001% chance of making. The regular PGA Tour, there are no odds. It's statistically impossible.
In other words, he'll have a better chance of picking what do you call it in March Madness?
Listen,
picking a perfect thing.
He should first try to beat Tony Romo. And some of the first go make your way. What he should have said and done, and again, not burden.
Maybe try Mark Whippin on for size.
Yeah. Some of the guys, Joey Theismann, they all play in the Tahoe Celebrity, and there's a celebrity circuit, and those guys can play, but they will tell you they can't compete with the next level.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like you say, the guys that are at the very top. A bad game for them where they're just like, I can't. But although they come in with scores, but maybe it's because the course is harder.
But same setup, same conditions. Those guys, they don't make the cut. They shoot 80, maybe high 70s, and when you got to do it 4 days in a row, and in front of massive galleries and everybody else, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah, that's what I always wondered. That's a very lonely game, isn't it? You can't really lay it off on anybody but yourself.
No.
Which also is the beauty of it too, though. But it ain't like you got to share.
Well, it's always.
But in his case, it's it's almost a guy that's kind of flopping around looking for more attention because it sounds like that's what his whole deal was.
Johnny Football.
Yeah, I'm good for it.
Okay, we had a little conversation about Bob Euchre. And I think we were just. Off the air or whatever else. But
did he do stand-up comedy for a while? Or just that guy that he wrote a book?
He was so damn funny on Johnny Carson, right?
I mean, his self-deprecation.
It was just one-liners after another.
And it was always about
him.
How, and what a pitiful baseball player that he was. It was,
he actually wasn't terrible, but he was just a funny guy who took it that route, and it was just hysterical.
Johnny Carson is where he really came to fame.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, he has had a handshake deal with the Milwaukee Brewers since 1971 with Bud Selig and his crew. He's never had a contract with them. Has had a handshake deal. And then last year, when COVID,
is he there?
So he's on their radio broadcast crew. And that turned into a regular gig for him in 72. So he basically is celebrating his 50th anniversary on the air for the Milwaukee Brewers. And so he had to sign a contract here
finally
last day or two. He's had a handshake deal with them all these years. And then you can relate to this because he used to get his health insurance through the Screen Actors Guild. And he didn't have the income in certain things that meet the criteria last year because of the pandemic. So in order to continue the coverage, to get outside coverage or whatever he needed, he signed a deal. He signed a contract with the Milwaukee
So it was all
Brewers.
about health insurance.
Yes.
Otherwise, he was good with a handshake.
Yes.
I would figure at 50 years, you can kind of go with it.
But the Euchre getting it done. Okay. All right, John. Steelers' Tom Brady undergoes arm surgery. And I pulled this and I saw this and I was like, what? Huh? Now, believe this or not, that headline is correct from a story in 1983 that we're looking at here. Shreveport, Louisiana, Dateline. This is from United Press International, UPI. Terry Bradshaw entered a North Louisiana hospital and underwent minor surgery for muscle tears in the elbow of his throwing arm. This was in the spring. He registered under an alias, Tom Brady. That is eerie to me.
In 1980, what?
3. He's still playing.
Was he still playing in 83? Just at the tail end, though.
Yes.
He was barely playing.
So he wasn't going to do strength exercise until he began throwing a football in June. I believe this was in March. And he said he has the same thing as tennis elbow. Classic tennis elbow is on the outside of the elbow, but this was on the inside. Lots of pitchers and athletes who throw have it. Small tears in the muscle. Done by a surgeon. This was March 3rd, 1983. His alias is Tom Brady.
And he's what's Brady's number, 12?
12.
Yeah, same number, because I saw that, and I'm thinking, well, when it says Steelers Tom Brady, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I don't get this story because, they got some backup that's named Tom Brady, and he had surgery on his arm? You know, that is weird. Think about this, though. Nowadays, I guess it happens every once in a while, somebody has some surgery so close to the regular season. You said this was in March.
Yeah.
So March, April, May, June, July, the season starts picking back up to recover from that. That would be something that you would think that would be done in January immediately, as soon as the season's over with. But then in 1983, I don't know, was he the starting quarterback for the Steelers in 1983? And I can't remember who took his place.
Well, Bradshaw said they said Bradshaw, the team said, it was a minor thing caused by wear and tear, and they rarely publicized, but it got out. And the doctor saying, yeah, that's why we put him in as a pseudonym and an alias. And they said Bradshaw rarely does throwing until late May at the team's minicamp. So clearly he was on the tail end.
Yeah, and it was so minor that it was basically just getting over the actual incision.
Following surgery, Bradshaw went to New York to film a commercial and served as Grand Marshal of the Coca-Cola 500 stock car race in Hampton, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
That's bizarro.
Well, that to me, it's almost, if you register under an alias nowadays, are you committing any kind of a crime?
No, not as a celebrity. I mean, because, and especially I think involved with health care.
But they would have known who he was down there. I mean, he was in his own backyard. That's where he grew up, right? Louisiana.
Sure, they would just, that's
for the press.
Yes, that's to keep them off the trail.
But you would think, though, well, at the same time, and that's 1983, so it wouldn't be the same thing as it is today, but you would think, and I guess that it would, I guess the local press might have picked something like that up, and then all of a sudden, then the national
somebody dropped a dime on Tom Brady.
Yeah, they did. Well.
All right, John, it's time to talk to Coco. Here's to keep us cool, keep us on our toes, keep us young, okay?
That's the whole point.
This is some breaking news. So, Washington football team continues their metamorphosis to the model franchise.
They're becoming a variety show.
Oh, 100%.
Where's like Dean Martin, Gary Moore.
Listen, football doesn't really matter.
Carol Burnett.
I love the Carol Burnett. Flip Wilson.
Flip Wilson. There were so many of them.
Oh, my gosh.
Goes on Dinah Shore.
Okay, Dateline, Ashburn, Virginia. Washington football team has discontinued its cheerleading program. Remember, they took a pause, I believe, a week or two ago.
That was after
they took a pause.
Choice parts, choice bits.
Yes, after some naughty bits were shot by some very unscrupulous folks. And the Washington football team has discontinued its cheerleading program after more than 50 years, replacing it with a co-ed dance squad as part of its rebranding effort. This coming from John Keim of ESPN, who's a friend of the show. Petra Pope, who was hired by the team as senior advisor, focused on creating game day entertainment Said the goal is to create a more modern franchise. With that, it comes inclusivity, diversity, and in my mind as an entertainer, athleticism. We want inclusive, diverse, co-ed, athletic to set the gold standard in the NFL. We're looking for the super athlete that can dance, perform tricks and stunts, and manipulate whatever props that will create a really great show, according to Miss Pope.
When are they supposed to do the shows? Like in between plays and that kind of stuff? I mean, I don't really, in all honesty, then I think, do they have a glee club that goes along with this? Maybe mixed choir?
It's like Circus Soleil.
There. Hey, let me ask you something. Do they still have the band? Did the band
So
get
the
disbanded?
band has also been put on pause.
Oh, so they're because
The
they were
band is paused,
because they
too.
were the blank skin marching band,
Yes,
right, or something like
yes.
that. So they couldn't really be. They're what do you call it? Politically incorrect. So, Coco, I got to ask Dude about this because you're talking to somebody over here who starred in Little Mermaid, was a star of Little Mermaid, also the star of Alice in Wonderland.
I saw it.
So, Dude, I don't know. Give us about 3 or 4 bars of your favorite song. Let's hear that voice.
No,
You
not
could
ready?
be part of this.
My point is, it's an
diversity,
audition tape we'll send
inclusive.
out.
We're looking for everything. So basically, we're going to have, it's Barnum and Bailey. We're going to have 3 different rings. You're going to have the football game going on in 1. You're going to have co-ed dance team 2. And then we'll figure out whatever the band's going to be as 3.
Well, I was just thinking to myself, this really does underscore the famous words of the late general manager. Well, not late as in death, but because he's not there anymore. I should say team president Bruce Allen. Winning off the field. That's what we do. That's what we do. I'm paraphrasing. If that's the new mantra out at the park, we win off the field. Don't pay attention to those guys down there that in those tight outfits. Don't pay attention to them. We're winning off the field here. Listen to, hey, let's go, everybody. The dance team, get out there, do something. I don't know. You do what you got to do. It's just like, but to me, it kind of. I will say this. Years ago, when we played up in Pontiac, Michigan, in the Superdome, or not Superdome, but the Silverdome for the first time, I remember being in there, and for whatever reason, I'm sure it went on in Dallas when you played down there, but I never happened to notice it. But I was up there before the game, and there was up there people were dancing and all this stuff, in the restaurant. And all.
Right.
And I just kind of thought I guess the game ain't enough anymore. It was just like you had that moment where it's just like a place to go on Sunday afternoon, spend some time, have some drinks, flirt with girls and boys and whatever and all this stuff. What's going on the field is actually the reason to go, but it ain't really the reason to be there.
It's a destination now.
Yeah.
It's a destination.
I would say that's true.
Look at the expansion that we went. Then you went to luxury suites, right? Now you've got luxury suites. You got VIP seats. Some of the newer stadiums, like down in Jacksonville and some of the other.
They got a new stadium?
No, not Jacksonville. Remember thinking Tampa and some of the enhancements that they have made.
Right.
They have hot tubs. You can watch the game in a hot tub. I mean, so it is all entertainment.
And that's kind of really lets the air out of you because that's when you realize this isn't truth and beauty. It's just what you said. And we say it all the time. At least I do. It's the entertainment business, and that's kind of where you look at Alex Smith and you just kind of go, you're getting all upset about this, Alex. It's the entertainment business. It's not a pretty business. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't make a difference if you're in Hollywood, NFL, NBA. Anytime you're in front of people, live audience, and all that. That's a seamy business to be into.
You're a
There's
performer.
A lot of hurt feelings.
Yes.
End up because people aren't realistic about what they're doing. I don't think so. What do you think, Dude? Because here's somebody that wants to get into that business right there, Coco.
Yeah.
My child.
I just like acting. And music. It's not so. I don't know, because.
What did I tell you about fame, Dude?
I know it comes with a price, I guess.
Exactly.
But I'm not so much looking forward to fame. I'm more like.
Oh, Dude, I don't think you understand. Yes, you are.
No, but as a career choice, I want to do something that I love to do, and that's acting.
That you're on right now, and what is about to happen to you, Coco? You're going to the moon.
Am I going to get an Oscar?
You're a 5-tool performer. We got the singing, the dancing, the acting. I've heard her tell jokes.
Right. Stand up.
What's the 5th one? Okay,
we're working on that.
4 tools for sure.
And acrobat, contortionist. I'm serious about that
I've
part.
seen her actually do a little break dancing and.
Oh yeah, dude's got it going on.
Get some,
So I'm thinking, would they hire Coco to come out and perform?
So they're going to have open tryouts, and the former cheerleaders are eligible to try out for the dance squad. They're going to hire 36 dancers or more, and they're saying we welcome the dancers of the past to audition. If they have the skill set, they're welcome to join us. And so
they're not kicking them to the curb. But is this involve nudity or no nudity?
No. We're past that.
Okay.
We're past that. We believe we're past that. Unless, again, surreptitiously,
Somehow.
there has to be some,
A wardrobe malfunction?
I just think that cheerleaders at the NFL level have jumped the shark. Okay, I think it's come and gone. So,
There's some teams though. I think the Giants are one, and the Jets, but I don't know. The Jets may have changed. There were some teams that never ever
had them,
and I don't know who all they are. But there's quite a few.
I think the Jets team have a dance team.
Now,
yes.
But they didn't used to.
Right.
And I think the Giants have never had cheerleaders.
I believe you're correct.
And I think that they're still. In other words, like they say, the more it changes, the more it stays. It finally came, what goes around comes around. Now, I guess it's in vogue now. Is everybody disbanding their dance team?
Everybody's scared poopless because nobody wants liability issues. It's the changing dynamics and the demographics of the country.
Yeah.
And I just, for one, let's see what the heck happens, because the feedback right now is pretty aggressive. Let's just go with that. I don't want to see a dance party at a football game.
Yeah,
commercial breaks or otherwise. I don't. That's me. It's one man's opinion.
I think it reminds me of that story of what I've heard, and it sounds to me like something that might have happened. But when the Green Bay Packers got all clobbered up one day on a Sunday afternoon, so Lombardi is just fuming, and he comes in, and he goes, "All right, guys, I can see that I've overloaded you with too much, and we got to get back to basics." So he holds it up and says, "This is a football." And I guess the famous clown Max McGee, the late Max McGee, goes, "Hey, Coach, can you slow down a little bit? You're going too fast." Well, that's kind of what I would offer.
I don't think that's the response Lombardi was looking for.
Well, but I don't think so. But I think even Lombardi had to laugh. Go, "Hey, that's good, man."
I'm going to get you later for that, Max.
Exactly. But that's kind of like I would offer that to Ashburn. "Hey, guys, why don't you just focus on the football field, on the wins and the losses?" I don't know. I mean, of course, I don't know. I think Coco's a big baseball fan now, right, dude?
Yeah, I love baseball.
But you didn't get to follow it too much last year, but she was with him through thick and thin during the World Series run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
So, anyway, we can discuss that. Coco, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
it was
thank
a real
you
pleasure.
for having me.
Yeah, and I get to have somebody talk
aboard.
to on the ride home.
We'll be getting you set up on Cameo and autograph signings later for COCO.
See your agent right here.
Right on.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
Riggo
you.
out. Bye-bye.